Hello everyone and welcome to the Dynamite channel. I'm Chipper.
I'm Romina.
Today we are going over episode 1130 of One Piece.
A History Erased, God Valley of Despair.
And the funny thing is we've been building up all the negative things that could possibly happen in Kuma's life. And then you get this sudden just like a million cameos and like...
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It was so exciting. Of course we're going through, like you said, the pain and suffering of his life. You start the episode seeing different like episodes of sadness, of love, through his actual eyes. And it just, even though we had seen those scenes before already, I feel like I agree with showing that again and like basically putting us in his shoes.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Right? You saw, and again, I don't know why I like that scene when he was born. I don't know why I thought it was that scene for a second. I was like, oh, again? But it was like him as a child falling, and of course you see the love of his parents, like, are you okay? And then you see him in slavery, and again, when his dad told him that his mother had passed, then it cuts to him in slavery, being whipped, and the whole idea of Nika again came up, that he would free them. And then kind of going to the end of the last episode where Ivankov comes in and is like, we've got a plan to escape. One thing that I was trying to remember, and again, we don't want to do spoilers, so just stuff in the past, but I feel like slavery is a big issue.
Well, the problem with One Piece too is that some of the spoilers are in the past. They just haven't like been uncovered yet. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was thinking to myself, like, I feel like there are several characters that we have seen already that shared that they were slaves. And there has been a lot of slavery going on, and one, obviously we're going through Kuma's story of slavery and Ivankov, Ginny. But we also know, there was a fishman who also was a slave. We've shared that before. And then the Boa sisters also were enslaved. We don't know really much of the details for how.
Right. Yeah, even Hancock.
Yeah, she hasn't really shared that yet. But it's just kind of a reminder that many of the pirates, no matter like how strong they became later, really also came from a place of like really not so much no freedom, and a lot of suffering. So it's important to remember there are many other characters, so I look forward to hearing about that of them.
And it's been a huge plot device through the whole show, right? The fishman and different characters, different people in his crew that were slaves, and just their battles and their relationships with the celestial dragons, and the celestial dragons' relationship to the Marines. Like a lot of that stuff is just like tied throughout the different generations of the show. So it starts with this like really sad, like somber beginning, and then it like very quickly goes like ham on like really exciting things of the past. Yeah. And I'm like freaking out, like super happy to see some of our lovely characters like in all their glory, right? In their youth, like full strength, and like when we met a lot of them, they were a little on the older side, but still very, very strong. So seeing these past characters, I wasn't ready for it yet. I wasn't sure what was happening, and then we see that like, oh, why are we going to Navy headquarters? And then it goes to like someone calling up. I was like, is that Garp? Yeah, and you have the younger versions of these iconic characters. Yeah. And it starts with Garp, but then you've got all of the rock pirates, all of the people that intel. I think you were like, oh, we know who was on there. And then people that we even forgot about. What was his name? Like, because obviously Kaido was on there. Like, Lin Lin was on there. Yes. But then also, like, Shiki was on there. Like, I don't even know if you ever watched. You haven't seen any of the movies. I think it was like the 10th movie. And I think they maybe mentioned Shiki like during Impel Down. Like he broke out. He was one of the people that like broke out of Impel Down, and then he was he was there like with them, and then like then it goes into
Oh yeah, and then of course the Luffy's maybe dad.
Well, before we get there,
Okay, yeah.
let's understand how they got there, right? Yeah. Garp gets a call. I was super confused. I'm like, who is calling, like, who is this, calling Garp? How do they get this intel? What is the intel, really? I couldn't really understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And why is he, like, in vacationing, like, by the pool? Like, what was he doing? And then all I understand was like, oh, something's going on in God Valley. You might need to go, and he really doesn't care. And they're like, well, it looks like Goldie Roger's gonna go. And then Garp is,
I'm
what?
going.
Oh, I'm definitely going.
Yeah.
Then we finally get to start understanding the plan. Ivankov and Ginny start telling the slaves, you have no hope. This game, this like killing game is always, there are never any survivors.
The most dangerous game, if you will, from Rudyard Kipling.
And they bring up that there are devil fruit treasures like hidden on the island, and Ginny and all her technological skill was able to 2 weeks ago spread the word, the intel, that the devil fruit is there, therefore the pirates will come. So that's what's bringing the pirates, and that's why Garp then is going to go, because Goldie Roger and others are going.
Oh, and they come. They were all there. Everybody was there. Whitebeard was there.
Before we get to that.
Oh my God.
Kuma, when they start talking about the plan about what to do, they said we need to try to just eat the devil fruit. Like, that's the way to get free. But we need a decoy for the celestial dragons. And like, sweet Kuma says, I'm bigger. I could probably survive longer. I don't want anyone else to die. So I will be the decoy.
And then Ivankov immediately says, like, I'm going to make sure you don't die. Right? Like, it's good. And suddenly, finally, you have, he has like some friends between like Ivankov and Ginny that care about him. But yeah, it shows his dedication again, his kindness again, which you don't get to see with emotionless, like, controlled version of Kuma. So it even packs even a greater punch when you see how he actually, what kind of personality he actually has.
Ivankov quickly saw who Kuma was and appreciated it and delivered to as a friend.
Yep.
So you see the Rocks pirate ship.
That's what I want.
Newgate is there. Yeah. Stussy somehow looking exactly the same is there.
Yeah.
Gloriosa is there.
Yeah. And you remember Gloriosa?
So Tripper had to tell me.
Yeah, the old lady from that was always arguing with Boa.
She's gotten a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And a lot older, but but Stussy looks the same.
Yeah, I want to say it was like three. They used to say it was like 3 generations before or something like that. She was the leader, but yeah, that's of the Amazon Lily.
You see her. You see a skinny Ling Ling. You see Kaido. Kaido is the one talking about Roger. Like, I want Roger.
Newgate was arguing with Rocks all the time.
Which reminds me of just a lot of how competitive these pirates are. I mean, they're in the same team, but they're still ruthless, looking out for themselves.
And so many of them ended up splintering off into their own crews and stuff too. So it's good to see some of those dynamics like within some of the, because we don't get to see that. And like I said, super iconic characters in a whole different time of their lives that we haven't really explored yet.
How, like, comparing the Rocks pirates to, like, the Roger pirates to, like, Luffy's team, like, I feel like they are different because I do think that, at least from what I saw from the Rocks pirates, like, they really are out for themselves. They don't necessarily have a clear leader. They're, like, Newgate's like, what now? Like, Rocks thinks he's, like, my leader. Like, that's not true.
Yeah.
That's definitely different from what I'm used to. Even when Newgate became Whitebeard, like, it was very clear who's
he was literally the father.
Or like Luffy, like, there's really no, it's not like
Zoro's not challenging him for
no one's challenging him.
Usopp did.
Yeah, we saw how that went.
That didn't turn out well.
Anyway, so that was one thing that I thought was different. And then we see the Roger pirate ship where I'm like, oh my god. He looks like Ace and Luffy combined. And it's like too much. Yeah. It's like it's like a lot of information, and I'm like, this is overload. I
cannot believe that this is happening right now.
It's like before the
characters.
It's like before the commercial break. They're hitting you with all of this.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. So he's jumping off. You see Rayleigh. You see a fish man there too.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Garp arrives
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Where's Roger?" And then we cut to back to the plan that Ivankov had with Kuma. Somehow they found the treasure boxes. Like they just had like a bunch of them in their hands. And they're like, they start opening them. And then Ivankov's like, all right, like the plan is just eat them as fast as you can. Right as they have them open, Lin comes in and takes Ivankov's devil fruit.
Bro, Ivankov with Kaido's power.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Well, Kuma was able to take his, right?
He did.
And going back to Ivankov, like what happens? He just grabs onto Lin and is like, go eat it and survive.
Mm-hmm.
Kuma starts running away and eats the devil fruit, and then like Ivankov sees that from afar and is like, we win. Like what kind of unconditional love is that?
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's not gotcha.
One of us wins, we win.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah.
It's not going different from like the rocks pirates that I'm talking about, everyone for themselves. So, and then we see Saint Saturn come in.
So he busted in right when Ivankov said that. Like he had to stop all the happiness right there, and it's like, oh, here we go.
And I'm like, what is Saint Saturn's obsession with the Buccaneers, right?
He brings that up a lot too, but then also reinserting this is your lot in life is to be the slave and die, and then Kuma's being existential, like why we have no purpose in even being born if we're,
and
if
then
that's the case.
And then he shares that deep feeling he has inside that he wants to save as many poor people as possible. And then that's where Saturn says, that's exactly why that has to be the fate of your people.
Yep.
Because it's, we said it before of like the dad, like in their culture, we still don't understand how it's been in their culture to have those thoughts of Nika, of freedom, liberation.
But yeah.
So somehow then it cuts to like, they survived. We see Ivankov there in the Sorbet Kingdom reading the news. That was definitely did not tell the truth.
Morgan's again.
And Kuma kind of feels a little bad, is feeling bad, saying like, I wish I saved more people. But he saved over 500 lives. And what was really sweet that Ivankov said that he had the hands of liberation, right? With his little Kuma paws.
Yeah.
And, that's probably like the sweetest thing someone could say to Kuma, especially, having had that culture and that want to liberate. So
then you end up with the whole rest of the episode then being after Ivankov goes and leaves and says goodbye on his own adventure. Then Jenny's like, big brother, like, see you later. And then you start seeing Kuma remembering the times with his family, and then he kind of sees like, oh, this is like my new family now with Jenny, and then obviously Bonnie whenever that happens. But like that, it was good to see for Kuma that he actually has this like reprieve of like just perpetual sadness, and he's able to start building a life there in the church with Jenny. And
I just think maybe it's like a big assumption to make, but like he had so much love when he was born. Like he was given so much love. So I feel like that's something about him too, is that he has so much love to give. And he's able to kind of get back to that again with Ginny. And I didn't know that Kuma could heal, so I was a little taken back, they had finished selling some chopped wood, and then these kids come and start throwing rocks at him, calling him a monster. He's like, you do not look like you're 9 years old. And then Ginny beats them up, and they have, they're hurt, and then he just heals it. So that was really interesting to know that he could heal wounds like that.
Yeah. But then all the kids started loving him after they found out that he had that power, and then they started accepting him, and you start seeing that he's playing a bigger role there in Sorbet Kingdom, like with the people there, the townspeople. And he's starting to have not just an isolated life, but a life with his new family and his new community.
Or is it that they like him because of his powers, or is it that they just got over the initial, like, you know, visual, like, oh, you look different, you're a monster, and then they got to know him, and he's like the sweetest thing.
Both.
And then it ends with, you know, Ginny shares that she was also 4 years old when she was a slave like him, and then she just starts crying. And then that's where you brought up that he sees, like, remembers how his old family was, the things he would do, the same things he would do with his family, he's now doing with Ginny. And they both start crying, and Ginny shares that she's just so happy. So the next episode should talk about their life together. It's a fleeting moment of happiness. So we'll learn a little bit more of, like, that happiness that he has with Ginny.
Yeah. Any other takeaways from this? There's a lot.
I mean, honestly, the best 30 seconds or something was really seeing the Rock Pirates and Goldie Roger. Yeah. Like, it was just so exciting.
That version of Goldie Roger, like,
love it.
Let's go.
No, not just Goldie Roger. Garp looks cool.
Yeah. Whitebeard.
Like, they all, like, have such cool vibes. Like, look so vibrant and just, like, you know, ready to
in their prime.
Take
Everybody
over the world, and it's you know, confident and happy. Like, even Ling Ling, you know, like saying Ling Ling like
and
that
Kylo,
too.
like,
and how the hell is Stussy? Is she a vampire? Am I supposed to know this? I don't know. But Stussy looks the same, and I'm like, I didn't remember that Stussy was even on the Rock Pirates. I had forgotten that.
But it's good. Another thing that has nothing to do with the episode is, like, why when we're in the U.S., I'm always drinking, like, the Oiota, but then we go to Japan and I'm not drinking Oiota. I drink the Calpis. I don't know, like.
Well, they're just everywhere. It's just easier.
You switch it up. I thought I don't know. I thought about that, but let us know what your favorite part is below. Like, there were so many different, like, really cool things. Kuma stories getting deeper. All of the cameos that were there, it was just like flashing. I had to keep pausing. Romina was taking notes.
I know. I was like vigorously like, wait, what? Oh my God, who was that?
Yeah. And then it says so much more about Saturn, and then the Kuma, like, his family now, you know, like Ginny, and how they're going to build their family together, and how his relationship with Sorbet Kingdom's gonna happen. Maybe we'll see a power struggle there in the next episode. But yeah, let us know in the comments below, like, what your favorite episode was, and y'all have a great week. We'll see y'all next time for episode 1131, which was, I don't know, we'll say what it is next week. But y'all have a great week, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.